I want to welcome you again to the Qualitative Research Connect. This is a platform where we share qualitative research knowledge and expertise. And starting last month, was it last month or earlier this month? I have now resumed to try to do this on a regular basis. I had put a stop on it for several months when I was working on a major project that I finished last month, and so now that it's done, I'm ready to continue these conversations. So let me introduce Dr. Lass to you. Many of you know him because I see some of you joining from Leyte Normal University. Dr. Lass Johansson B. Kaluza is Professor 6 in the Philippines. You know exactly what that means. It's a big deal. Known for his multidisciplinary expertise in machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, and qualitative research. I want to let you know that I've known Dr. Lass, I think for about 10 years now. Dr. Lass?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And it was interesting that the first time we met, we didn't really talk that much. We were in, I think, either in Davao or Iligan.
Yes, that was in Davao, sir.
In Davao
It's a
City.
world conference. Yeah.
Okay, and so interestingly, he took my
Card.
contact information, and later on he contacted me about qualitative research, and ever since then we have been friends, very close friends. We have done a lot of projects together. That's how I got to go to Leyte Normal University. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known Tacloban City. If you have never been to the Philippines, please go and visit Tacloban City, and especially Leyte Normal University. They are right up there with the qualitative research. So he holds a doctorate in technology management and is currently pursuing a doctorate in information technology. So he's working on his second doctorate, and he was sharing with me that he's just about to work on his dissertation. His academic foundation is further strengthened by a master's degree in IT. Dr. Kaluza has made significant contributions to qualitative research, collaborating with researchers across various disciplines. His qualitative research spans diverse areas, including phenomenology, case study design, and the photo voice design, where he has explored themes such as blended learning, ICT in education, quality education, environmental change, and the gender and development, and many other things. For people who know Dr. Kaluza, he is a busy man. I cannot remember for the last 10 years if there's been anybody who has published more than him in the whole university. I think every year he gets the highest number of publications. So this is the kind of person that we have as our guest today. Dr. Kaluza, his work has also focused on using advanced data analytics for social science research, where he applies qualitative techniques to analyze sentiment, emotions, and societal trends. His recent collaboration on COVID-19 response in the Philippines using technology modeling and application of the sentiment analysis algorithms in social media data mining are not notable examples of how he merges qualitative insight with data-driven methodologies. In fact, I got to see some of his work when I was speaking at Leyte Normal University once, where he was showing me how he has developed these modeling things. I mean, it was just mind-blowing. I was really bugging him that you need to develop your own software that will be using this, and I hope he has done that. That's a discussion of another time. In addition to his independent research, Dr. Kaluza has been a key collaborator in international and national research journals. His dedication to advancing research is reflected in his numerous publications and his role as peer reviewer and associate editor for several national and international journals. And Dr. Kaluza is a quality research educator, mentor, and enthusiast. I've never seen somebody who is in IT who is as enthusiastic with qualitative research as Dr. Kaluza. So without further ado, let's get the conversation going because we have so many people who are waiting for this. And thank you so much for the people who have posted in the chat area where you're joining us from, your university and the country. If you haven't done that, you have just arrived, please do that for us, and we'll be very glad to acknowledge where you're coming from. So, Dr. Kaluza, in very practical terms, what's artificial intelligence? Just for us who are not in IT, what is artificial intelligence? That's what everybody's talking about these days.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question. The first question of all that we'll we could get from in the next question, I guess. Um, uh, Artificial intelligence refers to, to the capability of machines, to mimic human intelligence through algorithms. Very, very technical, and enabling them to, to perform tasks uh, that typically require human, cognition, such as learning, reasoning. What else? Enabling them to perform tasks that typically require, these things, like, problem solving, and even, understanding natural language. I don't know if you have that, the computational linguistics, natural language processing. That's one there. AI uses various techniques now to including machine learnings,
Mhm.
neural networks, and nowadays the deep learning. Beyond neural networks, we have now into the deep learning. That's why um, through this, it improves decision making processes and adapts, new informations over time. Just like, for example, if you knew about LLM, or the large language model. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Can I have a thumbs up if you know about LLM, or large language model?
I don't
Oh,
see the thumbs
none,
up.
none.
Here,
So
here,
large
here's what
language
I'm going.
model.
Here is
Yeah.
what I'm going to ask. This is something I used to ask a lot of my students in the Philippines, and some of them may be on on this platform. I said, if you
Mhm.
had to explain AI to your grandmother, what would you say?
That's a very challenging question. AI is something that will support you in your daily activities without human interventions. Just ask it and it will give you.
Okay, okay. Now we're talking. So all
Okay,
of us here know how to use Google. What is
right.
AI compared to Google?
Um, Google cannot decide for
Okay.
you.
Now you
Do
speak.
not
Now you're talking.
understand commands. All you've got to do is to put a, what do you call this, a word or a keyword to search specific articles, for example, or research. But for an AI, like for example, ChatGPT, Bard, what is now the new one, for Copilot for Microsoft.
Mhm,
AI, when you ask something, AI will look for the nearest, what do you call this, answer, or perhaps with evidence, it will show you that, it will generate that for you. Um, One algorithm that basically utilized here by softwares is the LLM. That's what I'm talking about a while ago, the large language model, which ChatGPT's, Bard or Copilot, Gemini now are using. That
mhm.
even writing excuse letter, it will give you. It will decide. It just give them, can you please write excuse letter? This is my illness to my professor. It will give you, it will write you, the structure is there, and even the grammar and so on. It can check. That's large language model in the practical explanation. But if we will
One.
talk about the technicalities of that, it will take us the whole night to talk
No,
about
we
it.
don't want to go to the technicality. We have qualitative researchers here who may not have IT background, and so we
Mhm,
are.
mhm.
This is what you have explained. That's exactly what we need. So in other terms, are we saying that artificial intelligence is basically your IT assistant who knows everything? Can we say that?
Yeah, I
Okay,
could say,
good,
but
good.
there are biases.
Oh,
There
yes,
are
yes,
biases.
yes. Yeah. Let's
It's
go to
not
the
all in there,
before we
especially in
get.
my field of in IT. I can talk to ChatGPT and try to check whether it is responding the right way. So I
Yeah.
can note that there are things that it cannot actually provide
Yes.
for
Yes.
you.
And that
Let me give you an example, just a very small example. For example, you just wanted to write an introduction with references.
is
Try to do that, and it will give you links that is not actually existing. See, that's bias. That's bias because the LLM, the database around the world, is not yet perfect.
correct. Correct.
However, if we keep on continuing on asking and asking your AI, for example, GPT, it will learn.
Mm-hmm.
It will learn from you. And that is what AI is all about. It's learning from the previous questions. And when you ask them and it is say it is okay or not, if not, it will look for another, it will iterate again until such time that you are contented with the answer.
All
Th-
right. All
And
right.
then it refines.
That's good. So AI is also learning as it goes. Let's go to
Mhm,
another
mhm.
question. What are the benefits? What are the
All right.
benefits of that AI bring to life that we didn't have with
Mhm.
the search engines like
Mhm,
Google?
mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's a good question. AI has actually become, revolutionized, our lives, whether we like it or not. Now it's actually
Mm,
affecting us, by offering, capabilities beyond the traditional search engine, like what you talk about, the Google example, quote unquote. Now, while, for example, Google provides information retrieval based on, like, for example, keywords, as I've given you a while ago, AI basically personalize experiences by analyzing data patterns, and generating predictive suggestions. In fact, if you have, for example, in quantitative perspective, just upload your CSV file, Excel file, and analyze it, create a descriptive like this, it will give you the analysis.
mm,
That's how, what's one thing. If you have qualitative data, for example, an interview, in-depth interview, just upload your file, then ask what you want. Just can you please look into some themes on this, or codes that you can look into? It will give you
mm,
with
mm,
evidence. That's one thing.
mm.
Okay, which is I learned that you can actually do that, provided that you have your own data. You are not asking AI to generate for you.
Okay.
But if you will upload, to AI the data and analyze your data, okay, that is you own it. Okay, I
Mhm,
can say you own it. It's you just ask. It's something like you ask for SPSS to analyze that, or for example, you upload your file in Vivo
mhm.
or Atlas TI, for example. You upload your file, you analyze it. It's something the same as like that. But what is good with these AIs right now is that it will help you analyze. It give
Okay.
you
Okay.
everything that you like, and you gotta have to do is to whether you accept it or not.
All right.
Right now,
All right,
AI powered. Yeah,
hold on, Dr.
go
Kaluza.
ahead.
We
Go
are
ahead.
not yet at the data analysis. Hold on, hold on, hold
All
on.
right, all right, all
Let's
right.
rewind. Let's rewind. We're going to get there. Let's
All
go to
right, all right, all right.
design. And if you have a
Mm.
question, please. I know we're going to take the questions later on, so don't put them in the chat area yet because at this point, people are still telling us whether they're joining us from. So don't put your question in the chat area yet. I'm going to let you know when we're done with the questions that I've prepared. That will be like the last 15 minutes of this conversation. This is exciting, Dr. Kaluza. Let's go to the design. When you are designing your qualitative research study, how can we use artificial intelligence in that process?
All right. The first stage of, for in my case, in my own personal experience
Mm,
before,
mm,
even now, I still do that. The first thing that I gonna have to do in conceptualizing the research is to conduct literature mapping.
mhm,
Take
mhm,
note that AI can actually streamline qualitative research design by automating routine tasks such as, literature review.
mhm,
Oh,
mhm,
that's what I'm talking about. Example of that,
mhm,
and also theme identification. The one that I talked about a while ago. When you are upload your file and ask for a theme, it will give you. You know, natural language processing or NLP tools. Okay, basically analyze massive amounts of textual data to identify, emerging trends and insights. Helping researchers refine their research questions and even frameworks.
mhm,
AI can actually assist um, what do you call this? AI can actually assist in identifying biases, and gaps in existing literatures. Just upload it and ask, can you please identify the gaps? It will gives you, and ensuring more comprehensive research design. So from there, you can actually decide what particular designs that you can do.
On this one, Dr. Kaluza,
Mhm,
eh, where does the brain of the student comes in? Because this is
mhm.
exciting. If I'm a doctoral student, so woo, I'm
Right,
just
right, right.
write my dissertation in 3 months instead of 12 or
Mhm,
24
mhm,
months.
mhm, mhm,
If AI can do the literature review for me and collect,
mhm,
leads me to the most relevant articles and synthesize that for me,
mhm.
so I don't even have to read. And
Correct.
actually, artificial
Yeah.
intelligence can write this for me. I said, "You write 10 pages on this, putting all these themes together."
Mhm, 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 mhm.
Where is the role of
No,
the student? Is the role of the
that's
student,
wrong.
is the role of the
That's
student just manipulating the artificial intelligence? Is that
mhm,
the only thing you
mhm,
expect
mhm,
from the student now, that they don't
mhm,
need to
mhm,
read
mhm,
the
mhm.
literature?
No, no, that's wrong. That's the other side. That's the bias side.
Okay.
In my own personal experience with my students in the graduate school, even in my undergraduate, those who are under my supervision,
Mm,
I know they're using AI to do that. But okay, I always tell them that when you do that, you have still to read and confirm
mm,
if that literature is really existing,
mm,
and then you read.
mm,
And if you think that that information is correct,
mm.
okay, you still have to paraphrase that, because if you are going to upload it to Turnitin, for example, it
Yeah.
will detect that the entire article is AI generated.
Let's
It's up to the teacher on how they will handle that. But in my case, I always return to the students. Can you please clarify on this and make it on your own? You have to read. Okay, you have to read a lot. You have to understand. You have to learn from what you're reading. It's not just, you don't rely on artificial intelligence. Otherwise, if I ask you to develop this in response to the output of that particular research, you'll not be able to make it.
Yeah, I think that artificial intelligence professor, because some universities don't have access to a plagiarism checker like Turnitin.
Mhm.
There's quite a lot of universities that can't afford that.
Yeah.
So I think that in this case, professors need to be trained how to use artificial intelligence to check what was written about artificial intelligence. I've used that sometimes, and I
Mhm.
was able to catch certain things. It's like, whoa,
Mhm,
okay. And
mhm,
then from there,
mhm,
I go to Turnitin. It really
mhm.
confirms what I had found in artificial intelligence.
Dr.
Uh,
Safari, I also use that. I cannot deny that. But what I do is, if I have, for example, a proposal from Introduction to Methodology, I upload it to AI and ask the assessment of my paper and suggest to improve. That's it.
mm,
That's
mm.
how you have to use. It's not just, don't let AI write for you. You will not be learning from
Yeah, yeah.
if you're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, the fear I have, and the reason why I was asking that question, Dr.
Mhm,
Kaluza, is that I've I've been in the academics for 23 years now,
mhm,
and every single time you'll find
mhm.
that even sometimes at the doctoral level, sometimes not more often, not too often at the doctoral level,
Right.
people just copy and paste from Google. So how much more with artificial intelligence,
With
we
AI.
create something.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I think that uh, first of all, we need to train students to understand that yes, we allow people to use artificial
Mhm,
intelligence,
mhm,
but this is
mhm,
like an assistant, just like we used to use Google just to
mhm,
find information, but that doesn't mean that we're using Google to copy and paste. Uh,
right.
the same thing if you ask Chat GPT to write 10 pages for you and you copy and paste, it's the same
Mm,
thing as going to Google and copying somebody's article there, which is wrong. And of
mhm,
course, on the other side, we need to train faculty on how to do it right. Okay, let's go to research data collection. How can we
mhm,
collect
mhm.
data using artificial intelligence?
Yeah. Um, AI-powered tools like, for example, the chatbots, virtual assistants, and some transcription software can improve the efficiency of data collection. But what is the drawback here? It will not capture the vernacular language, which
Mhm.
is, when you conduct an interview, you have to go with, wow, what's the language, the first language of your participants. So that's the drawback there. But it can capture. Again, it can capture the data, but if it is not in English, then that's a problem because the AI do not know that unless otherwise you are fully subscribed with LLM, the open AI, because it can actually translate to Waray, to Bicolano, to Deutsch, to French, to English. It understand, right? These tools basically can conduct the interviews as well. You're gonna have to do is to give the what do you call this, the commands on what to do with the AI.
Mm,
So it collects actually also real-time feedbacks and also transcribe qualitative data, reducing the time and the effort required for manual data collections. All
mhm,
right. AI also actually what do you call this? AI also actually enhances data accuracy by capturing subtle variations in tones and speech and providing more nuanced qualitative data. It can describe emotions as well, you know? That's what's good with this.
mm, mm, mm. Wonderful. Let's go to data analysis. You had started talking about
Yeah.
how to use AI in qualitative data analysis, and it looks
Mhm.
like from what you have just talked about, this is where you both at the literature review and then in data analysis, this is where actually artificial intelligence could save a lot of time. Transcribing, of course, if people are using the language properly, transcribing will be good. I remember conducting a study somewhere, I want to mention where people were using English and mixing with the local languages. And
Mhm.
when I tried to use automatic transcription in Microsoft Word, it was a disaster. It was a
Right.
disaster because
Right.
it could not capture those other different things. Um, but on the data,
Let me add on that, Doc Safari,
yeah, 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 sure.
about the capturing of the voice, no, and transcription. There is something that I cannot. Do I have the right to say it? But there is a research right now to be conducted in. Actually, I already have conducted a phase one in Germany. I'm not going to say what particular company is that, on voice recognition that automatically translate in any language the
Wow.
conversations in any language.
Wow.
Imagine that. That includes our vernacular language here in the Philippines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See?
I saw something like that being presented just yesterday.
Mhm.
Was attending a conference here, and what they're doing, they have this is a TV show, and instead of having to uh, dub things,
Mhm.
they're using artificial intelligence that the voice will be the same, but it translates automatically. The video, the recorded video will be the same. The person will actually seem like they are speaking in that other language. So the same fellow who recorded this in English, when they
Mhm.
click on translation, it automatically
Mhm.
translates Chinese, French,
Right.
Spanish, German.
Mhm.
And this guy who never spoke German is now showing on TV as if he's speaking German. I mean, this is
Right.
fantastic. This is fantastic work. And so
Mhm.
on data analysis, you had talked about some of the,
Mhm.
just like coming up with themes and the other things. Can you share with us some other
Yep.
ways
Yep.
where we can use artificial intelligence for data
Mhm.
analysis?
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Um, Two things, okay? AI has become a game changer in qualitative data analysis. One of that is by employing machine learning algorithms to analyze text, audios, and even videos. Another one is there are AI-based tools like InVivo and Atlas TI. Example, I'm not promoting them, just an example. That basically utilized NLP, or the natural language processing, to identify patterns, themes, and even sentiments, or for sentiment analytics, from a large data set or from your data sets that you will be uploading there. Okay. Thus, in effect, it reduce human biases and improving the reliability of the analysis. Why? Because it is you who will be feeding them, who will be accepting or not on that particular output of that AI. Also, AI also enables the automated coding of data, allowing researchers to focus more on interpretation rather than manual processing. So these examples, these two softwares can do that, but in the interpretation, giving the life, the feeling of your of your analysis, it's you. It's still the human being who will do that.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here for me
Mhm,
to
mhm.
announce how to get your certificate. For those who want to get a certificate, I have put something in the chat area. You need to email me. You email us using the email that we used to send you the Zoom link, and just do two things. When you request that, you send that code. It is in the chat area. This is how we know that indeed you were here. And then you need to take a screenshot that shows you right now or any time from now until we finish, that shows your name on this platform. So two things: you email us with the code that is in the chat area, and number two, you need to take a screenshot that is showing your name right here. So that tells us that indeed you were here. If you have 1 week to request that. Beyond 1 week, we are not going to send you a certificate anymore because we'll be already working on the next webinar. We will try to get the certificates to you this coming weekend. So before Monday, please do not ask, where is my certificate? So just send us an email, and by Sunday evening, you will have your certificate. All right. Let's go to another question. How can we use artificial intelligence in qualitative research report writing, Dr.
Oh,
Kaluza?
all right. Um, AI tools like, for example, Grammarly, and also I don't know if you know Jasper AI. No.
I've heard of it.
Yep, yep. Jasper AI assist in drafting and refining qualitative research reports. So these tools help generate structured outlines, summarize findings, and even suggest improvements in language styles and grammar. But you have to use it the right way. Don't let the AI write for you.
Mhm.
Okay. It also enables, automated content generation based on preset formats, which is the other, the bad side, which actually also can expedite the writing process and ensure consistency in the report. Okay. Again, let me reiterate. Don't let the AI write for you. Just ask the AI the structure or the outline, or even or ask suggestions to improve your paper, not to let them write.
Yeah. On the outline part, Dr. Kaluza,
Mm,
I just finished work on an outline. I'm writing a new book right now that I just started 2 weeks ago, and what I did, I went ahead and created my own outline. I always start all the books I write or articles. I always start with an outline. I just can't write without an outline.
mhm,
It helps me to see where I'm going and where things need to fall in place.
mhm,
And so after that, I now went to artificial intelligence, specifically ChatGPT, and I
mhm,
said, okay, I would put like a topic, like a title of a chapter of one of the chapters that I have already put in my
mhm, mhm,
table of contents, and I say, okay, what are the topics that are related to this? And
mhm.
I found that I was able to add maybe 20% to what I had thought about. So that was like,
Wow.
whoa, my brain is limited. Artificial
Mhm.
intelligence can actually help me capture certain things that I wouldn't have thought about.
Yeah.
And so, and
Right.
I think this is what is what you're talking about, that
Mhm.
let's not allow artificial intelligence to dominate us. Let artificial intelligence be really an assistant, because that's what it's supposed to do. Let's use it ethically to help
Correct.
us do our work.
Mhm.
It should not be there to replace our work, because
Mhm.
eventually somebody will find out and it will be too
Correct.
late.
Mhm.
You may lose your job. For students, you may actually be lose your journey as an academic journey. And so that's something that I want to emphasize on. Do you want to have something else that we can use? Can we use artificial intelligence, for example, for grammar, for paraphrasing, for paragraph structure, for flow of ideas? Can you speak to that, Dr. Kaluza?
Uh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I cannot hear clearly. What was the question?
Can we use artificial intelligence for proofreading our work?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yes. As I was mentioning a while ago, one of that example is Grammarly. Okay,
Mhm.
it can actually help you to proofread your paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's an example. That's what I'm using actually. Yeah, we have subscription on that,
Mhm, mhm.
right?
Yeah,
That's it can help you.
yeah, and if you don't have Grammarly, please,
Mhm.
anybody who is really into who is into scholarly work, academic work,
Mhm.
students and faculty, you should get your Grammarly. And I have discovered that there are many different people who even
Mhm.
have subscription at a very low cost. I
Mhm.
know mine, I get it. There's somebody who has a big group of people, so
Mhm.
he's able to give subscription for a very cheap amount. I think for those who in the
Mhm.
Philippines, I think he charges like 1,500 pesos a year, which would be like $30 for us who are outside of the Philippines, which is
Mhm.
really, really good. I mean, one whole year for $30, that is really nothing
Mhm.
because it makes you really look good. But can we use the same features that we find in Grammarly, for example, in ChatGPT, Dr. Las?
Yeah, yes, ChatGPT can do that as well. But again, as I was saying a while ago, you have to decide, you have to read the interpretation, the corrections, because it might lose the concept of what you are writing.
Yeah,
Because that's again, that's the bias of AI.
yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't know everything.
yeah.
The AI do not know your concept you want to express on that. So you have to read it, refine your question as if you are talking and giving commands to a person. That's how AI, for example, GPT, will also give you the things that you want to know.
Hmm,
It
hmm.
depends on what you ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And so let me emphasize this, Dr. Kaluza. Let me emphasize this that uh, you're going to get most out of artificial intelligence if you know, if you have read a lot about what you are talking about, what you're trying to find out about. Because if you have not read, and here I'm specifically talking to students who may be on this
Mhm.
platform, if you say, oh, this is great, I'm not going to read anything.
Mhm.
ChatGPT will spew things that you do not know if it's right or not or wrong. And when you submit that, guess what? Your professor will throw that because it's not right because you relied heavily on artificial intelligence. So
Mhm.
this is where we still need to learn what we need to learn so that when we get in that assistant, we can judge whether this is correct or it is not.
Or not.
And
Correct.
again, going back to the outline that I was talking about, I was able to find areas. I was able to find areas where artificial intelligence was telling me you should include this, and in my mind, no, I cannot include that. That's not part of this specific chapter. It's something somewhere else.
Right,
This
right.
is not correct in qualitative research. It's a qualitative research book,
Mhm,
and so
mhm.
I had because I have a solid foundation of qualitative research. I could tell where it told me what was right and what was wrong. All right. We have two more questions for Dr. Kaluza before we start the open discussion for everyone.
Mhm.
So you can start posting your questions and put them in the public in the chat area. But let's go to another question, Dr. Kaluza. What dangers, you had kind of mentioned some of those early on in this conversation, but I want now to focus on that. What are the dangers that we should be aware of as far as AI is concerned?
All right, all right. Um, AI presents risks related to, data privacy.
Mm,
That's one thing. And the other one is, as I was saying a while ago, which is very, it's present in any AI that I tried, from free to subscription based. The algorithmic bias.
mm,
Okay. Example of that, I don't know if you're familiar with prompt engineering, the way how you ask, the questions you ask in AI. It has a reflection and at the same time an effect as well on how the AI will respond to you. And so therefore it might give you informations that are not actually present in the body of knowledge. Okay, AI get ideas or informations from this, and it creates new data and gives you feedback based on what you're asking. But if you ask the AI to provide the source, it will give you the source, but it is not existing in the in even in Google Scholar. Just try to that's one thing. That's an algorithmic bias. Okay. The use of AI in qualitative research could actually lead to ethical concerns, such as, the unintended call this interpretations, or how we could say that, or understanding on what you are supposed to be, what you are supposed to be analyzing, uh, and uh, and 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 that's very bad. Another one thing, it's over reliance on AI can actually cause a loss of contextual understanding, because you are not anymore reading, you're not anymore analyzing, you're just relying on AI, and also hinder the development of critical thinking skills among
Yes.
researchers, students, even those PhDs who are PhDs with no publications.
Yeah.
And so they just rely on AI to write for them. That's very, very bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the bad side of AI. For me, for me.
But would you say that the benefits of AI are way greater than the drawbacks?
Well, if we have to look into the silver lining of this, yes.
Okay.
As long as you know what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right? Ethical considerations is very important here.
And talking about ethical considerations, again, we're still waiting for questions. For those who have questions, please post them in the chat area. There's somebody who had sent me a private question, so I'm going to read it. I'm now going to read, obviously, their name. Is it ethical for the advisor to run the paper in Chat GPT, Chat Copt, I think it was GPT, or ChatCopt, maybe it's another one, to ask for comments and suggestions in the improvement of the paper? So basically, as a faculty, and I have known some universities where one class you have 100 students and you're teaching academic writing. Let's face
Mhm,
it, you're not going
mhm,
to have enough time to give individualized feedback
mhm,
on
mhm,
100
mhm,
papers of academic writing. So
mhm.
is it ethical for the professor to put that in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT makes the recommendations? And
Yeah, for me as an IT professional, as an IT professor in the university, yes, yes. Why? Number one, it as I was saying a while ago, it makes it fast to look into. You might miss something else. However, you have to read it, or perhaps talk with your students on this, so you can expound more what we mean by this, with these findings, right? And we have also again, as professors, we're not perfect. We have to accept the fact that we are we are not perfect, you know. So we need also assistance from this. I totally agree with that, 100%.
all right, all right.
I'm okay for that.
Okay, I'll go to another question, but before that, I just want to let you know that we have people, many countries represented here actually on the platform, not just the registration. I see Philippines, of course, that's the predominant one, but I see Haiti, I see United States,
Uh,
Uzbekistan. I think I saw another country here, what it was, but quite interesting, a variety of people joining us. That is really wonderful that many people are joining, and we will be having another one very soon. Just watch for the announcement very soon.
mhm.
The last question before we go to the questions that are on that have come up in the chat area. What can we do to deal with these drawbacks of artificial intelligence? What
All
are the
right.
practical
We
things?
actually,
Make sure
yeah,
that
yeah.
we get the best side of artificial intelligence.
Mhm. Um, I have identified things, but some of these are very technical. As I was saying a while ago, my bias here is I am in the IT field. So these are the things that I look into. So to mitigate, the drawbacks of artificial intelligence or AI, researchers must adopt ethical AI practices. That's one thing, such as ensuring transparency in AI models, for example. Okay, auditing algorithms for biases or bias,
Mhm,
and maintaining human oversight.
mhm,
Okay, in the research process, don't be reliant on AI. So engaging in interdisciplinary collaborations between technologists maybe and social scientists can actually further help to balance AI's technical capabilities with ethical considerations. So these are the things that I think that we can do.
I think, thank you so much. I think ethics here is a very important thing.
Yep.
I don't want to sound like I was born in the time of Noah or something, but when we started using Google in the academe, I would say when the internet started really spreading outside of the Western world, early 2000, late 1990s,
Mm.
this was the same fear people had.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, back then there was no Turnitin. People just copied and pasted. And
Mm-hmm.
people was like, okay, we hate this. Professors hated that people can just copy and paste and professors wouldn't know unless they are really
Mm-hmm.
seasoned professors. They can see paragraphs that are not aligned, paragraph that is really, really good and the next one is really, really terrible. Then you know that something went wrong somewhere. So training people in the ethical use of artificial intelligence, I think it's very, very important. Is this
Mm-hmm.
something that you are already doing at Leyton University, where you have a course where that is specifically addressed with all the students?
Well, I cannot speak for any behalf of the university. What I can only say is in the subject or in the course that I am teaching. Yep.
Okay.
We do that. We do that. I always remind my students on this, and I'm very transparent to them. I even demonstrate them in the class. This is what will gonna happen if you will show me something like this. It is okay, but you have to read it. You have to analyze. You have to look if it is correct or not. You have to verify that as much possible. Paraphrase again. You read the article, and as much as possible, it's okay to use that, but you use it in the right way. Like that's what we have talked about a while ago. Use it to correct or give suggestions, not to write for you. It
Yeah.
should be you who is writing. You can ask suggestions what to write there, but to the actual writing, it should be the human being, the students who should be doing that.
As we're having this conversation, I'm struggling with this idea of actually having a course, any academic writing class today at the university level, whether it's undergraduate or graduate level, that the use of artificial intelligence in academic writing should be it should be like a section. I know we cannot add another course, but have
Mhm,
a specific section in every academic writing class on
mhm,
how to use artificial intelligence ethically and technically. We need to equip students how to use it because we
mhm,
don't just assume that people know how to use it, and we
mhm,
need to equip them on how to use it ethically. Same thing, professors. How can professors use this? It's unfortunate that everybody's trying to find information or attending a webinar here and there how to do it. But if the university takes the initiative to integrate this in their system, I think we will see things happening much, much better than leaving that to everyone. What don't you think so?
Yes, yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. There should be a protocol. There should be a established policy on that so
Yeah.
that everybody will be able to follow accordingly. Okay?
All right. All right. Let's go to another question. It comes from Dr. De Castro. I think we have met. I'm familiar with this name. Is it necessary to report in the research paper if AI was used? I think the answer is yes. What do you think?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. actually, Turnitin is reporting that when you are going to submit your paper for publication, the journal will give you the feedback of the percentages of this.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's one of the best practices in the usage of article. I mean, artificial intelligence. When you use that for your writing, you need to report that. In fact, in university where I teach,
Hmm.
we require that you explain how it was used.
Used, correct.
Major project that you were part of, Dr. Kaluza, that I just finished last month, they said you need to specify. Did you use it for outlining? Do you use it for this or that? So it has to be specific. And of course, if you
Hmm.
copy and paste that, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that
Right,
you copied and
right,
pasted.
right.
No, that's a no-no. Unless you use it for proofreading, then that's a different story.
Yes.
Another question, what would you recommend for AI checker that is free? So basically like a Turnitin equivalent, but that is free.
Mm. Um, for what do you mean? For checking for grammar or something like that?
Somebody who used AI checker, I mean, somebody who used the AI for writing to be able to check that, because the Turnitin will tell you what the percentage that was AI generated. So for people who don't have Turnitin, what can they use that
Mhm.
is free?
Um, I could not give you a specific open source, software to do it because everything now is for a fee. What they do is basically give you only about like 30 days trial, and after that you have to pay the full version.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't, I'm sorry, I haven't had an experience and use for a free software to do that.
Yeah, and funny thing is that the few times that I tried to when I discovered when I felt that a student was had something that felt like it was generated by AI, I tried to use AI to check if it was generated by AI, and sometimes it misled me, and so
Mhm,
I couldn't
mhm, mhm,
I couldn't totally. Uh,
mm,
rely on that. And so this is something that you may want to ask just ChatGPT and say, well, what are the other options for Turnitin to check
mhm.
plagiarism? Maybe ChatGPT will give you some answers,
Mhm,
Dr.
right. Just I would like to give you another scenario that I discovered from by using these tools, revising or checking or paraphrasing our articles, our research, or even just a paragraph that you have made. I don't know if you knew an application that is an AI humanizer
No.
that the change humanizer that is undetectable by AI, but still AI who do the paraphrasing for that. When you run that in internet in, it will still be detected as an AI paraphrased.
Wow, wow, wow. That's that's
Yes, yes.
quite
Like
a
for
thing.
example, you have written a paragraph, and then
Mhm,
you ask the AI humanizer to improve it.
mhm,
Okay, that is undetectable by AI by
mhm.
using AI humanizer. When you run it in internet in, it will be detected as AI refined or AI paraphrased already. It's not anymore human.
Oh, Dr. Kaluza, this is we are in for a special ride. And I know that this will continue to become to develop and to become more complex and hopefully more practical.
Mhm.
But the next 2, 3 years will be quite interesting with artificial intelligence because this is
Yeah.
the first time technology can think for itself and generate things that didn't exist before. So that is quite amazing. Look, we go to another question. Again, it came privately, so I want to mention the name here. It is considered unethical if you let, or is it considered unethical if you let AI improve your composition? Like you have actually written, I believe, written the paper, but you'd like to improve the logical arrangement of thought, grammar, and so forth and so
Oh.
on. Of course, the answer
Mhm.
is yes on that as we have said. So yes, you are allowed to do that.
Mhm. As
Um,
long as it is yours and you ask AI to improve it. Not don't let AI generate it for you, the composition. You
Correct.
have to you have your own original composition first, and
Yes.
then let AI look for the gaps, for example, or improve it. That
Yeah.
is, for me, it's fine for me.
Yeah, of course, that's ethical way of using AI. Somebody else asked here about the certificate. What's the email address that we write to for e-certificate? It is the same email that you was used to send you the Zoom link. So just go to your email, and we can just respond to that. I said I have just finished attending the seminar. Here is the code, send me, and here is the screenshot, send me my certificate. That's it. Here is from Dr. Namanya. Greetings. There at the Adventist University of the Philippines. That's a very good friend, a rising star of qualitative research.
Wow.
Is it possible that soon we will have books and articles written by AI? If this happens, where shall we turn to get a clear understanding of a certain topic written by an expert human being? That is a
Wow.
fear
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Soon, maybe. I hope it will not gonna happen. Otherwise, it will be a total abomination of all writers in the world. No more will gonna write books.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, artificial intelligence, really, today people are
It
using
can.
that to write books. You just say, okay, write me 100 pages on this. Artificial intelligence will do that. And
Yeah.
and this is where I think I'm afraid now, lately when they ask me, can you be an associate editor? I'm starting to be hesitant, because somebody can submit a paper that was written by artificial intelligence, and unless the
Mhm,
journal has Turnitin and things like that, I may not be able to know that. I may not know that, because I'm assuming, I run under the assumption whenever I read a paper as a peer reviewer, I'm under
mhm,
the impression that you wrote your paper and that the editor in chief has run that stuff in Turnitin. If they have not
uh-huh,
done that, or they don't have Turnitin, guess what? Some of these manuscripts may make it to publication. And so the question of Dr. Namanya stands. How can we know, as researchers, when we are reading articles, that what do you recommend to us to know what was written by AI, which may have some errors, or what was written by a human being?
mhm. Um, you can actually detect that as if you will try to use. I keep on saying this a while ago about the use of Turnitin because it easily detect AI, written
But
articles.
you don't
Yeah.
have a Turnitin, we don't have Turnitin, and maybe the
Mhm,
journal that published it, they didn't have Turnitin. So it's
mhm,
a blind person with another blind person. Um,
mhm.
is there any way without using technology for me to know that, hey, this is I shouldn't be reading?
I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna have to do that.
Oh,
Because as you can see, an AI generated statements, it's a nice, it's well written, it's
yeah.
well written, and the one submitting is also a scholar, and so why would we question that if
So
you
I
have no software to detect that?
yeah.
But let me give you an example. I verified this before. I think that was a year ago or months ago, that there was an article that was published, and it is I think it was Scopus Index,
Mm.
wherein the co-author is ChatGPT.
Yeah, I've heard of things
And
like that.
it was published in a journal and indexed in Scopus, and so therefore it's okay with that particular. I don't know what happened now if that's the case. I don't know with that. How did they check if it was purely with human writings or with an AI no analysis or writings? I don't know how did they do it because there was a
Yes.
fee for that.
So these are the areas where we will continue to grow. Hopefully, in the future, these things will have clearer answers, because we're still at the beginning. Okay, somebody
Mhm,
else here. Finally, no, it's not finally, because we still have we still have other questions. Do we need to understand that AI is bad or good for academic writing? Furthermore, what impact should the future generation expect in terms of the quality of intellectual production? I think this was intellectual property.
mhm,
So I think we understood already that it's good and bad. I think we have
Yep.
addressed that first part. But looking at intellectual property in the future, if
Mhm.
something that was done together with the artificial intelligence, can I
Mhm.
get full credit for that?
Mhm.
Basically, I think that's the question.
Um, as I was saying a while ago, AI mostly right now are using LLM or the large language model, wherein this model is based on the data that was taken from
Mm, mm,
from the entire IoT, the Internet of Things, the internet, the cyberspace, whatever we have uploaded in the internet, that's
mm,
the thing that the AI will get it and summarize it.
mm,
Okay, let's summarize it. If we will talk about intellectual property, I don't know because first, okay, if you submit that and it was detected by AI,
mm,
and there is a policy that it's not allowed, then it will be rejected.
mm, 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 mm,
See?
mm.
And,
Okay.
and remember, ethically, why would you claim such an idea or writings if it is not yours? It's the AI who actually generated for you.
Mm, 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 mm. All right. Let's go to another question here. Can we reveal the use of artificial intelligence through, though we have paraphrased in text citation? Yeah. So if we used AI to paraphrase, can we I think the question is, should we give information statement somewhere that we use artificial intelligence? Uh, my take here is that if we use artificial intelligence, we should indicate that.
Yeah.
Like in the book,
Yeah.
I mentioned to you that I use it for creating my outline to improve my outline. I mentioned that in chapter one that um, I use AI to improve that
Mhm.
so that people will not say, okay, this sounds like AI. Okay, here is how I used it. It is the
Mhm.
best practice. It may not be required at this point, but it's the best
Mhm.
practice.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it is okay if you put it in the ethical consideration part of your paper. As long as you are honest and transparent, that is okay for me.
Transparency is the key word here at this
Mhm.
point. The next question, um, Turnitin is another question, I think. Turnitin is biased too. Sometimes paragraphs checked through Grammarly or Quillbot says when says written entirely by AI, it's already confusing if it is accurate. I mean, it's like the AI wars are on. uh,
Right,
and
correct,
and this
correct.
is this is I think one of the reasons why I'm not using like ChatGPT to say, okay, here's my text and can you paraphrase it for me? Because I'm still hesitant that ChatGPT will add that to the database. And so in the future, somebody will think that I had actually plagiarized while it was my original text that ChatGPT
Mhm.
had used. And so I'm
Correct.
still hesitant on that. Call me all the traditional person, but that is my take on that. And here somebody said, Frank said, I have the same experience. Alvin said, Grammarly and Quillbot are still AI and so forth and so on.
Right, right.
Um,
But here's the catch there, Doc.
mhm,
That if you published a paper that is purely written by humans, that data will add to the LLM.
mm. All right.
See? So it's a cycle. See that?
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have only 1 minute to go. It is like we have just started, and as we still have a lot of questions. So here is what we're going to do. First of all, let's put our digital hands together for Dr. Kaluza for sharing his
Oh.
expertise with us. Thank you so much, sir, for spending time sharing your expertise with us. But this is not over yet. Um, so those whose questions are not answered yet, please go to our Qualitative Research Connect Facebook group and copy your question and post it there. And Dr. Kaluza, please, when you have time, one by one, take up those questions and address them. And for those who are
Mhm.
still thinking about questions, you haven't really formalized them yet. You can post those questions under that same flyer where we have his face there. Ask those questions there. I know the heart of Dr. Kaluza. I've known him for more than 10 years. I know he's going to address those questions when he has time. It may be a few days from now, but just give him some time and go back there and he will address that. I want to thank each one of you for coming. Thank you so much for coming today. I've seen some emails coming in and requesting their certificate. We'll get to that this coming weekend. And please encourage other people to join next time. In 3 weeks, we'll have Dr. Arceli Rosario, our former
Wow.
president of the Asian Qualitative Research Association. I heard she's called the mother of qualitative research in the Philippines. She will be with us 3 weeks from now. I'll be sending out flyer next week. So please plan on attending that as well. And for your friends who are not yet on the Facebook group, please send them there. I will be uploading this recording on our Facebook group within the next probably 24 or 48 hours from now. So if you want to have that, you will be able to see that on that same Facebook. So thank you so much. Good night for those who are in the Philippines. Good afternoon, those who are in Uzbekistan and Nigeria. And good morning, those who are in
Wow.
the US and Haiti and those other places around here. It was good having you. We'll see you again in 3 weeks. Bye-bye.